Okay, hi. Video 3. Basically this video is going to be covering what I forgot to say in my last video because that one sucked. I guess it gave a little bit of a background into what I was trying to say, but I mean, I'm going to try to now cover what I forgot to say. When I watched that back, I realised I missed a lot that I wanted to say. So, what I was going to say about what I'd learned and this is what I wanted to share with you guys. So what that was is when I discovered that the answer was inside of me and the answer was always going to be me, I felt like I'd learnt that lesson in the past and it was like almost like a relearning of it. And I think that especially like when you're ill and you've been ill for such a long time, you can sort of like, you know, search for answers within others. And I think, you know, ultimately we can only take responsibility for ourselves, and we can only be who we are. And so when I discovered again that the answer is always going to be me, and what's going on in my brain, I can't expect an answer from anybody else. I realised that, like I say, what it was inside me that was unchanging was my ability to understand and compassion. And what I wanted to say was, if you've been abused and you know you've had everything taken from you and you don't know who you are, and people always told you who you are, and you know that's not true, and you're always searching for your true identity, I guess what I would like to say to you is, if you have something about you and it is always there, don't compromise it. Like, don't compromise that for anything, you know. If you have, like, you know, whether it's like, you know, kindness or light or, you know, a rage, even, like, you know, even if you're angry and you're always angry, you know, even if that's what it is, anything about you, that is you, hold on to that, you know, don't compromise yourself, you know. If I compromised parts of my personality, you know, I've been so pushed to be somebody that I'm not, and if I did that, that would be a complete injustice. I mean, it was an injustice that people abused me, yes, but if I let that change me, if I let that make me become something I don't want to become, that's an injustice to me too. Then I'm doing an injustice to myself. If I let the coldness of others affect my warmth, that is an injustice to me too. So this is what I wanted to share, really. I think I just wanted to say, don't compromise you, don't compromise yourself, don't. And that can be anything, you know. We're all different, you know. If, you know, whatever it is, just hang on. You know, it's so hard if you've been abused and you've been told always who you are. You know, I didn't get the opportunity to, you know, I wasn't allowed to, you know, be anything, so to speak. I was very dehumanized. A lot of my abuse was very, very dehumanizing and very you know, it was very I'm going off track, sorry, I'm rambling. It was very, what can I say? I had always been told I was certain things, and even though you know deep down those things aren't true, when you're being told constantly who you are, and you know those things because of course they can't be true, so they're so inaccurate, so outrageous, and so you start, of course you're internalizing it all the time, right? But you're not you're deep down there's something in you that is not that. And if you I think it's a lot better if you get to tell the world for yourself who you are. I, through being abused, I obviously became, when I was a child and I was a teenager, I was not behaving in a manner that I probably would have been if I hadn't have been. Obviously, it goes without saying, abuse does affect you intrinsically on a fundamental level, especially when it is in your formative years, because that's, your brain development is totally marred by it, isn't it? So, of course it's going to end up affecting you and like changing parts of you. I mean, it changes your physiology. So, yeah. I'd always been told these things, and I'm discovering for myself who I am, truly. And wow, I've completely lost my train of thought again. I'm so sorry. I guess, yeah. Oh, so sorry. I see, these videos still are not very good. If this is no good, I've tried to film these a lot of times now, and I'm hoping these are going to be good. So, let me just recollect my thoughts a little. What do I want to say? Another thing I was going to talk about, actually, I think, was how we can idealize wellness. I had therapy for one of the top reasons why I've been doing this, and I've been facing everything head on and just not taking anybody's crap anymore, and I'm just no, this is enough. The top reason for that is because I have a son now, I'm a mother, and I take everything so much more seriously, but especially this subject, and so with my son, I had therapy for a really, really long time before I had him, and before I felt comfortable having a baby. I remember thinking I didn't want to inflict myself on a child if I was still mentally ill, and I had completely idealised being very well before ever becoming pregnant, and through therapy my symptoms had gone from extremely severe to moderate, and before I started I was suicidal, definitely. I was often suicidal. I considered it a lot. I have attempted suicide in my past. When I was 15 I attempted suicide and I had to leave school, so it's been a part of my life. I first took steps towards suicide when I was 12 years old, and so it was something that it always been in the back of my mind, and sometimes at the front of my mind, to do that. And so I went from being there to being able to do function better and do more things, and I still wasn't well, because I don't think I don't know if I'll ever be fully well, but I felt like I was well enough, and I wanted it so bad, and I wanted to take that plunge, even though I had idealised being fully, perfectly, mentally sound. And I realise now, and this is a brand new revelation to me, but I realise now, if I hadn't have had my son, I never would have found the strength to do this in the first place. When I had my son, when I first had him, the birth was extremely traumatic, but I'm not going to be talking about that. But after that, and once he was here, that was the happiest I've ever been in my life. And I completely expected to get postpartum depression, because obviously I've already got major depressive disorder on top of CPTSD. Obviously, your depression, it's intrinsically linked there. You're gonna feel depressed if you have this. So, and again, I've been depressed my whole life. I don't know what it feels like to not be depressed. I've had depression my entire life. I was first diagnosed with depression when I was 12, and it's a part of it for me. This is a part of it. And when my son was born and I had him, all of my symptoms just disappeared. They just disappeared for about 10 weeks. They just completely went away, and I felt truly happy for the first time ever in my life. I felt, and I'd never had that before. You know, not to downplay. I've had you know, some absolutely incredible happy experiences in my life, and I've had so many amazing, you know, gifts and blessings, and I'm so lucky to have had so many of those. Like, I can, you know, just literally a massive amount of incredible things happen to me as well. There's always horrible stuff I'm talking about, you know. There's also been a lot of great things since I've become an adult, and but because, you know, I'd always been ill through those other things, and when my son was born, I felt happiness for the first time, and I wouldn't be doing this now. I wouldn't have done what I've been doing if I hadn't have had him. If he wasn't here, I wouldn't be doing this, and I wouldn't have done it. I would still, if I hadn't have had him, I would still be, you know, suffering. Obviously, it got to about, this isn't an ongoing thing. I mean, it was about the first 10 weeks of his life, all of my symptoms were gone. For the first, like, 10 weeks or so, all of my symptoms were gone. And then I had, like, one day, and it was a really rough day, and I was having a lot of flashbacks. And I was just like, oh God, no, it's all coming back. And I was just trying to cling to happiness. I was clinging to it, and because I wanted it so bad, and I was like, I don't want this to come back. And obviously, slowly, you know, the symptoms got worse again. The past 6 months for me, everything's been back to, not back. I'm still happier than I've ever been in my life now. Here today, I can tell you I'm happier than I've ever been in my life, but obviously my symptoms are back, not full force, but they're there, you know. So but so, like I say, you can idealize being well, and you can, you know, but I so if I had lived in my little fantasy world forever thinking, oh, I'm going to be this way, I'm going to be, you know, I'm going to be perfect when I do this, I would never have actually found the strength to do it. And that's my brand new revelation, is that, like, I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for him being here. So there's something very, very, very healing about that. There's something, you know, I'm so grateful to him that he's here. A little, you know, it's just, so I guess I wanted to share that to anybody, you know, having doubts. Obviously, again, I'm extremely lucky that this has been my experience in it. I'm so lucky that I have been able to, you know, come through this and enter into motherhood in such a positive way, you know, which I wasn't expecting. And it's so incredible. You know, I can't stress enough how much that changed my life. And yeah, I know the experience is different for everybody, and, you know, we're in a rough patch right now. He won't sleep. He doesn't sleep. He screams is what he does. I mean, he's asleep right now, bless his little soul, but you know what I mean. So it's not all roses, obviously. Can't be. Nothing is it? This video is long. I'm going to end this one here. So that was just a bit more, I guess, an elaboration of the last one. So thank you so much if you are watching these. I don't expect anyone to watch these, but I feel better for doing this one. So I feel like I'm getting something from this. So yeah, thank you for being here if you are. And I'll see you on the next video. Hopefully talk a little bit more about some of my, some symptoms of CPTSD in a little bit more detail. Okay, thank you.